Good morning, Algebra 2. Mr. Woe here. Are you with me? This video is part 1 of 3 parts dealing with section 11-2, simplifying radical expressions. And I like to go and do these again just to help you guys out as a review in section 11-2. So once again, the EQ is asking us, how can you simplify expressions containing a rational exponent or a radical involving nth roots? Now, before we get started, we got to go back and recall some of our properties. Page 545 and page 4 of your HD&C shows you your properties or your law of exponents. Also, another thing we got to remember is our order of operations. So what I have done is I already worked out these first two. I worked them out on the practice videos, and I kept on making mistakes, and I thought, you know what, I got to learn how to do videos, get comfortable with it, and be able to talk with you guys. So looking at number 8, we're given a radical expression being divided by a radical expression, and we want to simplify this. And in order for us to simplify this, we got to write it as a rational exponent. So again, everything I'm showing you is just a recall of what we've already worked from section 11.1 or before we left on break. Again, the index is always going to be the denominator of your rational exponent, and the power of your radicand will always be the numerator of your rational exponent. So rewriting this radical expression into a rational expression is 2 to the negative 2/4 divided by 2 to the negative 9/6. Then what I did next is go ahead and simplify these two fractions. Again, I'm trying to show all my work so you guys can see it when you run across it. Again, two fractions, and we simplify them. The first fraction is negative 1/2. The second fraction is negative 3/2. Now, if you look at this part right here, we're ready to simplify. Again, if we have a power divided by power and they have the same base, in this case we have the same base of 2, we can find the difference of their exponents, which is the dividing powers rule. So 1/2 minus negative 3/2. And this part right here, again, I went and made it into an addition of fractions. We have two fractions now that have the same common denominator, and all we got to do is add our add our numerators, and we get 2/2, and we know 2/2 is 1, and our final answer to this problem is 2. Once again, I need to shift my paper up. I didn't show you that. Sorry about that. So again, you'll see what I was just talking about a moment ago. So let's look at number 10. Okay, number 10, I got my paper set up so I don't have to do any shifting. Number 10, we have a radical expression multiplying by another radical expression divided by a variable. But at the same time, we have two radicals here that have different indexes. So this first radical has an index of 4, and this other radical has an index of 2. So before we can go simplify those, we got to go back and take our two problems and write them as rational exponents. So again, this part right here, this radical is written as x to the 4th, y to the 6th, all raised to the 1/4 power, because that deals with this part. Then this radical here is x to the 6/2. Then the next thing I did is went and did power to a power. So I have a power here of x to the 4th raised to the 1/4. And when you have a power to a power, you multiply your exponents. So taking your exponents, 4 times 1/4 is 4/4. 6 times 1/4 is 6/4. And I left this one as 6/2. Then the next thing done was taking your exponents and simplifying those fractions. And I get 1, 3/2, and 3. So we're ready now to go ahead and simplify it further. The first thing I notice is I have a power of x. I have a power times a power. They both have the same base of x, and we can add their exponents. So that's where I got x to the 4th. Then the next thing I'd done was I have a power divided by a power, and they have the same base of y. So I can use the dividing powers rule. That's where I get the 3/2 minus 2/2. Go ahead and simplify this fraction, and we would get x to the 4th, y to the 1/2. Now this one is in rational expression form, and I can also write it as a radical expression form. So hopefully this video was very helpful for you guys. Again, if you guys find that I make mistakes, please be patient with me. This is a little bit new. Again, I'll always take any type of constructive criticism on YouTube, or whether you want to post a remark on the LMS. Please, I'll take anything that will help you guys, that will help us all out. Again, I love you guys. Thank you for listening to this video. I'll be working on the next part. Thanks.